We continue to follow the breaking news for you on this Sunday morning. Just a day after beating rival, the University of Arizona, ASU head football coach Todd Graham is out, fired earlier this morning by the VP of Athletics. Team 12's Tressa Tudrick was at the game last night. You've been following the team all year long. First of all, are you surprised this happened the day after a big win, a 7-5 season?
You know, the speculation about Todd Graham's job basically being terminated after this game was kind of, speculation was, is this game going to matter? Is it going to help save the job? Is it going to be enough? But there's a lot of things to consider with this job. So firing him in this position leaves a new coach to come in with a new recruitment class, kind of the 3 years, because he only had 3 years left on his contract to begin with. So that would kind of put some new recruits, you know, a little not at ease, because that's only 3 years. Not surprised at all, because even though he was 7-5, they did exceed expectations for the season. They were picked to finish second and second to last, and they finished the conference second in the Pac-12 South. So improvements nonetheless, but the win against the Wildcats was still not enough to keep his job.
You looked like you were having an amazing time last night, and of course during the celebrations this was a big question on everyone's mind.
It was kind of the white elephant in the room, something you didn't necessarily want to talk about, but at the same time it was kind of there that Todd Graham might not be back after this, and questions are, he is going to be coaching the bowl game should ASU go, because they are bowl eligible, so he will be coaching that game still. But as of now, there are a couple names that are surfacing about who will be taking over the program, but Ray Anderson has wanted to bring in someone else, a different perspective, a new vision. He did have, Coach Graham did have back-to-back 10-win seasons earlier in his career here in the Todd Graham era, but you know, he kind of digressed after that.
18 and 19 the last 3 seasons. It almost seems like, as much as everyone is excited about the big win last night, it's almost too little too late, and ASU wants to be a perennial program, and you can't go 3 seasons and have that kind of a record.
Exactly, and now that UCLA signed Chip Kelly, you have, you know, a lot more contention and heat in the Pac-12, and they don't want to be a second-tier program, which ASU has kind of fallen into in the Pac-12. So bringing in someone else that can bring a new light, a new perspective. Although ASU, from my experience in covering the team and being around them, they did exceed. I mean, you had a secondary in the defense that had never started. They were all new kids, and you had defensive coordinator Phil Bennett kind of come in and ring the ropes a little bit. Billy Napier from Alabama came in too. So there was a lot of working parts, but again, like you said, a little too late.
What does this mean for the future of the Sun Devils?
So right now it's kind of in limbo, but I think Ray Anderson, him and Todd Graham have kind of had some tension, I would say politely, tension. And I think right now it's just, okay, we beat the Wildcats. That's kind of what's going to keep ASU afloat. But what's next? That's really the big question. So we're going to be following that and tracking and see who he brings in and kind of the interview perspective, because there are a lot of open coaching jobs right now in college football. So seeing kind of which direction they'll go.
They're going to have to compete with some big football programs,
Florida,
including Nebraska and Florida. Both are going to be looking for coaches. If Scott Frost leaves UCF, that's a big job that's going to be open, as long as the USF job as well. All right, there's a 1 o'clock press conference this afternoon where I think the VP of Athletics is going to talk more about this, figure out more about the future. I know we're going to be covering this all day and have much more on 12 Sports tonight. Team 12's Tressa Tudrick. Tressa, thank you for the insight this morning. I appreciate it, especially getting up on a very short notice after a long night last night. All right.